What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Apocalypse Radio. I'm your host, Matt Outdoorsman. And today, we're going to be tackling a threat that most folks refuse to believe could happen. And that's life without electricity. Now, I'm not here to drive fair porn. I'm here to wake you up. All right, the power grid, the backbone of modern life, it's under attack. Okay? And it's not just from outside forces, guys. There are people in our own government who are making decisions that leave us wide open to disaster. All right, let me explain. So back in 2019, the federal government and the Department of Energy discovered something pretty chilling. All right, they discovered a transformer which was imported into America was found to have a hardware backdoor. All right, that means someone, somewhere, could remotely shut it off. Okay, think about that for a minute. All right, before I go any further, guys, I did some research on if it's actually possible for hardware backdoors to be installed in these things. All right, we're talking about transformers that are located within substations, all right, power substations. Okay, just to make that clear. And yes, it is theoretically possible to have that happen, okay? So moving forward, yeah, obviously this wasn't an accident. All right, this was a vulnerability baked right into the system. All right, so at the time, this was during President Trump's first term. So he saw the danger, and in May of 2020, he signed in an executive order to secure the bulk power system. Okay, he called it a grid security emergency because that's exactly what it was, right? Our energy infrastructure, our entire way of life was at risk. But can anybody guess what happened next? On the very first day of the Biden administration? Yep, it was gone, just like that, order suspended. So, I mean, I'm not here to play politics, guys, but I gotta ask you, all right, why would anybody scrap an order protecting America's power grid? Okay. This isn't just poor decision making. Right? If you ask me, it's sabotage. So here's the reality, guys. If the grid goes down, it's not coming back up anytime soon. Okay? It takes months to replace these large transformers. All right? So if you take a handful of those, and you take a handful of those out, large portions of the country will be left in the dark. All right, for weeks, maybe even months, maybe even longer, guys. All right, think about that. Okay, no power, no heat, no food, no medicine. Okay, how long would it take for society to unravel? It wouldn't take long, right? Within days, grocery store shelves, they'd be stripped bare. All right, without refrigeration, the food's gonna spoil. Water treatment plants, all right, they'd fail. And for those of you living in colder climates like myself, winter, yeah, it would become deadly. Okay? Most people wouldn't last a week before desperation set in. And unfortunately, guys, that's the harsh truth of it. Right? But here's the thing. We don't have to be part of the masses scrambling in the dark. All right? We don't have to rely on anyone to save us. All right? Why? Because we're preppers, right? And prepping, guys, it isn't just smart, it's survival. All right, so let me paint a picture of what it means to be ready for when the lights do go out. Okay? It's a little war game in here. All right, so picture this, the power's out. It's been about 3 days. Okay, we'll use a colder climate. All right, we'll go with the climate that I live in, northeastern corner of the United States. All right, the temperature's below freezing. Okay, your neighbors, well, they're burning furniture to stay warm. But meanwhile, you're sitting by your wood stove in your living room, you're drinking your hot coffee, you're flipping through a well-worn magazine. Why? Because you're prepared, right? You got your solar generator quietly powering your essentials, no noisy gas fumes drawing attention, your pantry stocked with food that doesn't need refrigeration, canned goods, freeze-dried meals, enough water to last your family for weeks, You got the gear to stay warm, wool blankets, insulated clothing, and a propane heater for emergencies. All right. Those propane heaters are good to have, guys. If you can afford it, get yourself one. All right. You can find them at Wally World, Walmart, Amazon. I have a little buddy heater. It's definitely a good thing to have in your stocks. All right. So you're chilling, right? You're chilling. And while others are staring at dead cell phones, you're dialing into what? A ham radio. Another good investment, okay? You're dialing into your ham radio. You're listening for the news. You're connecting with other preppers. And you're staying ahead of the chaos, right? And that's not a fantasy, guys, right? That's the power of preparation, right? When you're ready for the worst, you can face it with confidence, not fear. So let's flip the script. All right, the power's been out for 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. Okay? A knock comes at your door. It's your neighbor. All right? He's desperate for food. Their kids are hungry. Their home's freezing. And they're running out of options. What do you do? Okay? It's easy to sit here and basically tell your neighbor, hey, you know what? You didn't prep. Too bad, so sad, you're beat. Okay? Easy to sit here and say that. I know I have a 1-year-old daughter myself, and if I put my family in a situation where I wasn't prepared for some kind of disaster, okay, like what we're talking about now, a grid down event, then shame on me, okay? And that's the mentality I have to have when it comes to other people coming to knock on my door. All right, shame on you for not prepping. All right, I worked hard at it. I did what I have to do to keep my family safe, to keep them fed. All right, the food that I have, the supplies that I have, it's for my family. All right, beat feet. Okay. So yeah, leave it in the comments, guys. What would you do in that situation? And unfortunately, that's going to be the reality of a grid down scenario. All right, it's not just about having supplies. It's about making those tough decisions, right? Who do you help? Who do you trust? Okay. And how do you protect what's yours? All right. How can we stay one step ahead of that? All right? How do we protect what's ours? How do we trust others? All right, that's tough. The mad outdoorsman doesn't trust anybody. All right? I'm just going to put that out there. Okay, I have a hard time trusting people. Okay. But, you know, if you're going to be in a situation like that, you got to do what we're doing here, you know, engage with like-minded individuals, build that community, right? Because that matters, okay? Because if you wait until the crisis to connect with your neighbors, it's already too late, right? It's already too late, okay? So the time to form alliances is now, all right? And if you feel up to it, talk to the folks around you. Find out who is prepared. Who has the skills? Who's willing to work together when the time comes? All right, because guys, look, the lone wolf doesn't last long. All right, survival is a team sport. Now, I'm not saying, hey, start knocking on doors of your neighbors in the neighborhood and say, hey, are you a prepper? Because, you know, that could open up a can of worms all by itself. You know, we talk about gray man mentality in this community, right? That's a whole nother video. You kind of want to lay low key if you are a prepper. All right, so I wouldn't go from 0 to 60 with it in a second. I would, you know, get to know your neighbors, kind of feel them out, and start off with small talk, you know. Maybe talk about politics, find out where their head's at, ask them what they think about what's going on in the world right now. Maybe bring up a news article like this one here, like we're talking about here, all right, about this transformer that was discovered with the hardware backdoor. Feel them out, all right? Don't just go knock on a door and be like, hey, I'm a prepper, are you? Because, again, can of worms, right? All right, so you do you, I'll do me when it comes to that kind of stuff, all right? But, yeah, at the end of the day, again, I can't stress it enough. The lone wolf doesn't last long, guys, all right? So moving forward, another thing most people overlook is communication, comms, right? When the power goes out, so does the internet, all right? The cell towers and just about every way we stay connected, all right? But you don't have to be cut off, all right? A simple ham radio setup can keep you in a loop, okay? Even when the world goes dark, okay? You can listen to emergency broadcasts, you can connect with other preppers, and you can stay one step ahead of the chaos. So think about it. If you know a storm's coming, you can prepare, right? If you know looters are in the area, you can protect your home, okay? Information isn't just power, guys. It's survival. Guys, the truth is we're living on borrowed time, in my opinion. Our grid is definitely vulnerable, all right? If we're intercepting transformers that have this hardware installed in them, you got to think about how many in the past 4 years have gotten through, okay? We have a new president now. As of this video, Donald Trump is back in office. But again, okay, Biden suspended this order on day one of his administration in 2020. So use your imagination. You think our grid is vulnerable? Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, the government has made it pretty clear they're not going to fix it. All right, excuse me. So the question is this: what are you going to do? All right, are you going to wait until the lights go out and hope for the best? Or are you going to take action now while there's still time? All right, guys, look, prepping, it's not paranoia. It's common sense. It's about taking responsibility for your own survival. And when a grid does fail, and trust me, guys, it will. Okay, you'll be glad you didn't wait. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, I'd appreciate it if you share it out to someone you love. Also, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. All right, because by doing that helps my channel grow. All right, my message will reach a wider audience. Okay, any little thing helps. Yep. So with that said, this is the Mad Outdoorsman signing off. Stay safe, stay strapped, and stay prepared. Until next time on Apocalypse Radio.